Hello, everybody. A. Lawrence Haskins here. Was just thinking, I've been getting a lot of questions and inquiries, from people who have had the opportunity to, review the advanced copies of The Whisper of Serpents. And there's a lot of questions people have asked me, where did this story come from? How closely is it related to you and maybe to some circumstances that maybe you've been through? And in general, where, what was my inspiration, First, I guess I should start by telling you that this journey, I call it more than, for me, it was far more than writing. It was actually a journey in and of itself, which was part of a greater journey. But The Whisper of Serpents, I first sat down to write it, even before I knew the title. I first sat down to write this concept out in the year of 1998. And in fact, the first full draft of it was copyrighted by the Library of Congress in 2000. And there comes this time in everybody's life, where there's this moment of great expression. Either it's regret, it's great joy, it's great remorse, great bitterness, great anger, whatever, but everybody has this moment. And the story, as it came into my mind, I didn't really realize it then, but I realized that was my moment of great expression because of what was produced. I think, as with most authors, you take, a smidgen of, true life experiences and you expound on them and you ask yourself the question, well, in the context of, my personal experience, well, what if this would have happened? Or what if that would have happened? Or what if, any number of things. And that's what I did. I took some experiences and things like that. And I just asked myself, what if? And I built the characters, the characters were mapped out around, I think images of people as I would like to have seen them in certain respects, in my own life. Of course, that's not true with every character. Some characters are just there for, for the context of the story. So the story flows and it takes on certain textures that it does. But once the characters were formulated, especially, Catherine O'Rourke, she just, writing her became easier and easier because it was like, I started thinking in terms of, what would Catherine say? It wasn't a matter of what did Lawrence want to say in this moment, or if it was Bobby, if it was, Conrad Dupree, any of these characters. Once, the thing really started rolling, once I sat down, it was like, I was just like their puppet, if that makes any sense. So, the funny thing is, I can't really say that I never really had it in my head ever, really at any point in my life where, I said I wanted to be a writer. I never said, one day I'm going to grow up and I'm going to write a book, a novel. And, that was never my aspiration ever. I mean, not ever, even though, I knew at an early age, from, classes and stuff like that, I knew I could write, just writing letters and stuff like that. And if you read my bio, I explain how I wrote letters to this girl I had a crush on and stuff like that. But I never, wanted to say per se write. And, but at the time, when I started writing, that was the only form of expression that I had, and, I'll share more about that at some other time. But that's all I had at the time. All I could do was pick up, a pen and write and it was an escape. It was a lot of people say that writing, and it can be, a lot of people say writing is cathartic, but for me, it wasn't catharsis for me. It was the tone and the texture was reflective of a lot of turbulence going on in my life at the time. So at the time, it wasn't cathartic. I feel now it may, vindicate some things now. And certainly I'm not in that place anymore that I was, here. My mindset is completely different. But, it was an interesting journey, and from 1998, now it's March of 2009. And, I had to, obviously, when I dusted it back off and picked it up and looked at it again recently, when I decided to move forward with it, I had to do a little bit of revision to it, but not, interesting, not much. I had to do some revisions and, to make, just to update some of the content, just barely. But the story, the meat of the story is exactly the same as when I first sat down to write it in 1998. So, but it's been a long road. It's been a good road, a lot of things have contributed, to a lot of things contributed to the Whisper of Serpents. A lot of things, a lot of factors, and all of them, every one of them, good and bad. I'm grateful for all of them because I couldn't have wrote it without the good and the bad. So, yeah.